Hey, welcome in everybody. It's Dan Plucker from over at Maize and Brew, and today we're going to be looking at Michigan and North Carolina. Another tough loss for the Wolverines. They've been close in a lot of games this season against some good competition, but they just can't get the job done. And I'm as big of a Hunter Dickinson fan as any other Michigan fan out there, but North Carolina kind of exposed him in this game, and they picked on him for the entire game, making him struggle on the defensive end, especially guarding Armando Bacot. And that kind of started off really early in this game, and the way that the Wolverines decided to defend North Carolina early caused a lot of struggles. So you're going to see Bacot come up and set the screen, and the point guard, I think that's RJ Davis, is going to roll pretty hard. Dickinson's going to stay. He's going to try and double team, and then Bacot, you'll see him roll off of this screen kind of around that. I think that's Nance on the other end, and he's going to cut to the hoop, and he's wide open. Dickinson's going to point at Terrence Williams, maybe expecting a switch or something, but it's just bad defense from the Wolverines, and we kind of saw stuff like this all night. Easy 2 points for Bacot. I mean, Dickinson got back to challenge, but Bacot dominated this game, and they're getting Dickinson out on the perimeter, and he's showing that he is not capable of helping and being an effective defender when he's outside of the paint. And it's something that I'm concerned that other teams are going to be picking up on throughout the course of the season. So I think it's clear that a big problem for the Wolverines this season has been spacing, and this is a new play. I don't know if we've seen this very much this season, but I really like the spacing that it affords. So you're going to have two guys stand on the opposite side, and it's a really simple play. You'll have your big man in the middle, and he's going to set a screen, and then you're going to see Jet Howard come up, and he's going to get the ball right around the free throw line extended and be able to either take a jumper or drive to the hoop. We saw the Wolverines do this a lot in this game, and the spacing, like I said, very good, and it's a very efficient play. Trying to get Jet Howard involved early in the games, this is the kind of stuff that you want to see. So I really liked this play, and we saw it a lot for either Buffkin. Jet Howard ran it a lot as well, and as you can see, it's effective. It got the Wolverines buckets, and it's a simple play to get a guy like Jet Howard going, and he played his ass off in the first couple minutes of this game. I think he had 8 to 10 points in the first 12, 13 minutes of this ball game, and that's exactly what they need to do. They need to continue to create open looks for their best players on the interior, and that's, in terms of guard play, that's Jet Howard and Kobe Buffkin. The more stuff we see like that, I think the better for the Wolverines. It's really basic. It's really simple. They're not trying to do too much, and it works. So why not do it more? So here's something that frustrated me a little bit in the first half for Michigan on the defensive side with Armando Bacot. It feels like they didn't really know when they were going to double team him, and the guards were really tentative in some situations to actually just get that double team going. And it's something I honestly would have liked to see a little bit more of. You're going to see Bacot kind of establish down here in the post. And Doug McDaniel actually and Terrence Williams are going to switch here. And Doug on the entry pass is going to come all the way across here and not establish a double team. He's hesitant. He's just standing underneath the hoop, and then he winds up kind of retreating back to the corner, and Bacot sees that, and I think Terrace Reed is expecting the help on this play, and it's not there, which is why he gives up the baseline. Just kind of see how this thing gets set up and gets established. As you can see right there, McDaniel on his way over on the entry pass, but watch him not really set up the double. Look what he does. He just kind of backs up. He gets lost in the play, and Bacot just goes to work and gets an easy bucket on a younger player. That's a minor mistake, but we saw a decent amount of that tentativeness to actually establish the double team. It's more than just help. That's more than help in that situation from Doug McDaniel. I was a little confused in some situations what they were trying to do on the defensive end. We talked about Jet Howard being more involved, and I love that. That's what we want. That's what we need for the Michigan offense to succeed. But you'll see on this play, it's just way too much dribbling. It's too much of him trying to get things going by himself, because that's a classic play for Michigan right there, the high double screen, and just nothing comes of it. And then he panics, like he's trying to do too much, a lot of dribbling, a lot of one-man basketball, and then he makes a lazy pass and a turnover. And here you'll see he picks up his second foul. And that's at the 10:27 mark in the first half. And it winds up being huge because Jet Howard has to leave the game. And Michigan goes on a 3-minute run without a bucket after this. And to end the half, it was ugly. I mean, 22-17 at this point. And at halftime, the score was 41-34. And Michigan was down. So Michigan scores 12 points for the rest of this half without Jet Howard. And North Carolina goes on a run. And there's some things on the defensive side of the ball that North Carolina did that I'm going to show you. But on the offensive end, Jet Howard has to realize how important he is to this basketball team. And he doesn't. I think it's just freshman frustration mistakes that we see from Jet Howard still. And it's happened. I feel like it's happened in each of these big games where it's just he makes a dumb foul or a dumb play and then picks up a dumb foul after it. And then the Wolverines hurt on the offensive end without him in the game. He is Michigan's best shot at making the NCAA tournament this year and succeeding in that tournament. And I think he needs to realize the impact that he has on the offensive end for this team, because in reality, he is the only true shooter the Wolverines have on the offensive side of the ball. Terrence Williams is struggling. Kobe Buffkin is still not unsure of when he should shoot the basketball from deep and likes to drive more than he does shoot. And Jet Howard is the only consistent and significant shooter for this Michigan offense. He has to understand the gravity of him making silly mistakes like the ones that he did there. And it cost the Wolverines for the rest of this half. So there's a few minutes after the scuffle, about 6 minutes left in the first half. And again, we got Terrace Reed guarding one of the best post players in the country one-on-one. And good hands off the bat. I just don't know what he's doing here, because he gives up baseline. Again, I'm wondering if he's expecting help on the baseline and none comes, because it's just too easy. Like, Terrence Williams has to step in there and help out against the best big man in potentially the country, certainly playing like it in this game. And there just wasn't a lot of adjustments from this Michigan defense. I'll continue to show you some of the things that Armando Bacot was doing in this game. We're talking about freshmen and frustration fouls. Jet Howard, Doug McDaniel, perfect example here too. Double screen set, takes an interesting shot, thinks that he's fouled, and then he runs back on the other end and gives up a big foul. 4-point play opportunity for Caleb Love, and suddenly North Carolina has a lot of momentum. And from this point, for the rest of the half, it's a 13-6 run North Carolina goes on to take control of this game early. It felt at halftime, it felt like this game was pretty close to being over. I just felt that swing at that moment. I was just like, man, I don't think if Michigan's going to have enough. And it's because in the span of, what has it been, 6-7 minutes, we see freshman mistakes from both Doug McDaniel and Jet Howard. And they just need more time. They need more time to develop, to understand that that's kind of a play that you can't make. And here's why. Now Kobe Buffkin, who's not a true point guard, is being relied on to run the point. And we didn't see this early in the game, but look at it now. Look how high Kobe Buffkin is getting guarded, all the way at half court. And we're going to see this for the rest of the half. It's a huge reason North Carolina went on this run. Tough defense, 40 feet from the basket. And then look at that, trap, double teams off of screens. That's how North Carolina took advantage of this game and wound up going on this run late in the half, is just this pressure on the ball. And without any ball handlers in the game, Michigan doesn't know how to handle it. Bad offense, bad shot, North Carolina basketball. We saw a lot of that in the second half. In the second half of the first half, I should say. Man, this stretch was so ugly. Michigan's trying to get something set up here. I don't know what. But you're going to see Terrace Reed come up for a screen, and then immediately both defenders, they don't even pay attention to Reed. They're both trapping, getting this double team set up. And you'll kind of see it here. Bacot doubled. Kobe's tripping all around himself. Pass it to Reed. Actually, a good pass, but then Reed, that's a travel. It should have been a travel twice, actually, because he threw the ball up to himself, and then foul on the other end. Frustration from Michigan on the offensive end to end this first half, and it just was not pretty. And it's this run right here at the end of the first half was the reason North Carolina won the game. That advantage that they took, because Michigan scored more points than them actually in the second half, 42-39. But this run at this stage of the game was just debilitating. It was debilitating. It's what cost the Wolverines the game. So it's no secret that Hunter Dickinson has struggled against big men in his career. And like I said, I'm a Hunter Dickinson guy, and he's a great basketball player. He's developed a lot since coming to Ann Arbor. He's more of a shooter than I ever thought he would be, and he's improved a lot with his right hand. But the problem is I don't think that he is athletic and nimble enough to keep up with guys like Armando Bacot and athletic players that are going to be in the NBA at some point. And this series right here will kind of show that. Just bigger body, Bacot being a little bit bigger than him, even though he's shorter. And they're just as stocky as each other. And then on the other end, it's immediately right to Dickinson. Again, they're giving him baseline. The double comes, but foul and just an ugly possession for the Wolverines. And Armando Bacot continuing to flex his muscles against the Wolverines. It's just, he's just the better player. That's what it really comes down to, especially in this game. Armando Bacot on the offensive end for North Carolina was extremely impressive. And it's plays like that, and that's what I think the Wolverines were trying to do, is just really late help. And you saw Bufkin kind of jump up and try to block Bacot, but it seems like the timing of that has to be so perfect. It's such difficult defense to ask college guys to play. If this isn't a double team and you're just allowing him to go baseline, you have to be really athletic and very timely to get there at the right time to play good defense. And Bacot was too smart of a player for that to be effective for the Wolverines. Yeah, not going to lie, I nearly threw a brick at the TV on this play because it was so simple and so basic, and it made Michigan look so bad. I mean, you're going to see here the screen from Bacot, and he's just going to slip. And look how far away Hunter Dickinson is. Hunter Dickinson's all the way up here. He has to recover all the way to the post. And watch how much Bacot slips. Look at him. How is there nobody helping? Look where all the Michigan defenders are. They're all up here. And Bacot is wide open. There's nobody within 5 feet of him on this slip. A brilliant play from Bacot, but my goodness, the Michigan defense was not set up to succeed in this game against a guy that everybody knew was going to be a problem. Everybody. And they just did not do a good job of defending him throughout the course of this game. If I'm an NBA scout, this is the kind of things I'm looking at. Look at this rebound on this end. And look how fast Bacot gets down the court compared to Dickinson. Watch this. He's 2 strides in front of him. And then Dickinson's tired and immediately bodied. As soon as he gets there, immediately bodied as Bacot gets position. And again, look how he is positioned. Here, look how easy it is for Bacot to just roll and get an easy bucket at the hoop. And again, Jet Howard, is he supposed to come and help on defense here? Is he just doing that because? Is this supposed to be a double? Is it late? I don't know, but it's an easy bucket for Bacot and possibly could have been an and one. All right, Bacot's gone on his run. Michigan needs to do something here to get back in this ball game. 7 minutes left, and as well as Bacot's playing, he does have 3 fouls. And as many negative points that there were for Dickinson in this game, this was a very good one. Sets a screen here, and then he's going to kind of slip, and he's going to get down into the post and establish. And he does so well, and then just puts a really nice move on Bacot here. And Bacot can't believe it, but that's his fourth. And it's why the Wolverines were able to go on the run that they did to get back in this game. So as much crap as I'm giving Dickinson, this was a really important play and a veteran-savvy move from Dickinson and from the Wolverine offense to just go at Bacot and make sure that he gets his 4th foul. Man, it's crunch time basketball. And these are times you just absolutely cannot make mistakes. And in every close game that Michigan has lost this year, UNC, Kentucky, Virginia, there have just been these what are we doing situations. And that happened here. Again, Bacot with a high screen, and it puts Dickinson in an interesting situation. He sets one screen and actually comes back on the other end and sets another. And Dickinson has to decide if he's going to stay on Bacot or switch. And the smallest player on the court, Doug McDaniel, and the biggest player on the court, Hunter Dickinson, switch. And then I don't know what happens. I don't know what the thought process is here. Here comes the screen again. There's the switch. And as you can see, they both kind of don't know what they're doing. It's just miscommunication, bad communication. They could have given the Bacot the ball here. Instead, Dickinson knows and realizes he made a mistake, and he turns and runs away from the basketball and tries to get a switch here. And it allows for Love here, or RJ Davis, to get an easy drive to the basket and an easy bucket. I mean, it's just simple basketball. It's just simple basketball. And plays like that are the reason why the Wolverines are 7-4 without a marquee win in the non-conference. They could have 3. And that's what the most frustrating part of it is. And that would kind of do it for Michigan. Kobe Buffkin winds up fouling out. Hunter Dickinson winds up fouling out. And this team is so interesting to me. They've got a lot of talent, especially in their starting 5. I mean, Kobe Buffkin has taken that step. 22 points, 3 boards. He had a 20-point performance in the last game against Lipscomb. And then Jet Howard, 17 for himself, shot 50% from the field. A good game again from the Michigan guards. It's just your best player, Hunter Dickinson, not playing well in a big game against another great big man. 9 points, 8 boards, 3 of 9 shooting, just not the production you want to see from him. And for the Tar Heels, I mean, it was Armando Bacot. We talked about it. I showed you the instances, and it was the same problem. It's like Michigan didn't make an adjustment. It was the same thing over and over again. He was attacking baseline, which is supposed to be the number one thing you don't give up as a defender. But the Wolverines continued to allow him to take the baseline, and I don't know if it was supposed to be a double. I don't know if it was supposed to be help or what was supposed to be happening there, but it wasn't working, and they didn't do a whole lot to change it. And the same was true with getting Dickinson on the perimeter. And North Carolina took advantage of that all game long. They said, Bacot is the more athletic player, and we're going to make Hunter Dickinson be an athlete. And it cost the Wolverines. Caleb Love, another guy we knew was going to be a problem. 18 points, 5 boards, 4 assists. RJ Davis had a great game. He hit 4 threes, 19 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and UNC leaves with an 80-76 win. And another close, disappointing loss for the Wolverines. And in reality, they could, like I said, they could be going into the new year with 10-11 wins. And instead, they're 7-4. They don't have that key win early in the season that is going to help bump them in March. So they've got to do a lot of winning in Big Ten play to earn a good seed if they want one. There's still definitely hope for this team, no doubt. And it's those 2 guys right there that you see on the screen in Jet Howard. And then they need somebody in the second unit to step up. They need, Joey Baker or Terrace Reed to kind of take a leap here and be that guy off the bench. And I think it can be Joey Baker. I do. I really like Joey Baker's offensive game. Defensively, we'll see, but offensively, I really like Joey Baker's game. And I think if those things kind of align here, Michigan could have a really good run in the Big Ten, but definitely a little bit of cause for concern here for the Wolverines as they lose another tough game to North Carolina, 80-76. For Maize and Brew, it's been Dan Plucker. Thanks for watching.